the really great news is there's now another $100 million available at the state level to help build more buildings like this, which is a really wonderful thing coming out of the state. It's been a bleak few years in terms of state funding for affordable housing, but hopefully we've turned the corner and we're headed in a new direction. For those of you who have been to these things, I always take a moment to just acknowledge that you sometimes wonder where all your taxpayer dollars go and where this program goes. This building has so many different forms of public support, from the local operating support program to the state funds that we've mentioned. We also have private support from the Federal Home Loan Bank, their affordable housing program. We have lenders. We have a tax, well, that's not public funding, but we have low-income housing tax credits on this property, which are a unique program of the IRS and the Department of Treasury that is used to build almost all of the affordable housing in the country. Raymond James is our investor on this project. They couldn't be here. And then we really rely heavily on banking partners. And we've been lucky over the years. We've had a really strong partnership over the years with Citi. And I'm very excited. I got to get the name of Citi. I always get the Citi Community Capital. There are variations on Citi. You got to get the right part of Citi. So with that, I want to welcome Brian Barker, who's the director of Citi Community Capital, a huge partner for Mercy Housing. Thank you.
Good morning. As Doug mentioned, I work for Citi Community Capital. We are the community lending and development arm of Citibank, and we've been a huge partner of Mercy's over the years. And also, we've done many transactions in the Bayview, in the Third Point corridor, and it is just amazing to see the transformation. One of the earlier speakers asked if people remembered what was here before. I think it was you. I do remember what was here, and to come here today and see what's transformed is it's truly amazing. And we're also lucky enough to take a tour of the property before this, and the finished product is absolutely outstanding. So we are very glad to be here today and celebrate with Mercy and the Providence Foundation. And congratulations on an absolutely outstanding project. Thank you.
Okay, believe it or not, we're very far into the agenda at this point. A couple people that I forgot to thank earlier. I saw her in the back, Amy Bailey from Mercy Housing, who many of you know. And also the Mercy folks that put together this event. I want to thank Rick Sprague and Jessica and Mary Kelly, who all helped staff and put together this wonderful event. So one of the downsides of working as the president of Mercy Housing is that I really don't get to see as much of sort of how much this impacts people's lives as you do when you're a little bit closer to the work. So for me, these events, small a window as they are, they're really quite incredible to really understand some of the impact that these properties and this work has. I had a chance to just very briefly meet Maurice Hightower and his lovely daughter, Imani, and Maurice is going to come up and share a few words with us. So thank you, Maurice. And we're not sure. We think Imani's coming, but we're not sure. She's getting rid of her gum. All right. That's not parenting. I don't know what is.
Can I borrow a chair? That's a little better. Okay. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Maurice Hightower. This is my daughter, Imani Hightower. Say hi, baby.
Hi.
Okay, cool. There we go. Okay. Thank you. Okay, I guess I could start just by saying where I live. So I live in beautiful Bayview Gardens, Unit 106, right down here on the first floor. I get access to the garden. I also work for the after-school program, educational tutor. So I work. I'm sorry. I like cameras. I'm sorry. But yeah. So I work with Tiffany Davis, two Tiffanys, Stephanie, Danisha, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'd like to say hi. I'm Miss Pat. I met a few people. Helen. Sorry, a lot of people, a lot of names, but hi, everybody. We work on the gardens. You can see. I'm not sure if everybody got a chance to see it. We planted strawberries, raspberries, sunflowers, basil, tomatoes, green onions, kale. People like kale. And a whole bunch of other stuff there. So it's all sprouting very nicely. The kids come down. They actually have access to it. They can learn different types of ways they want to get their green thumb working. So we have the irrigation system, which is dug down into it. We have, right now all the kids are going to the Boys and Girls Club. All the kids are going to the Boys and Girls Club. I'm sorry. All the kids are going into the Boys and Girls Club, which is up on Kiska Road. The Willie Mays Boys and Girls Club. So they're actually not here right now to celebrate Walva, so we'll be back later. They come here after school. They come and we give them healthy snacks. They need help with homework, whether it be math, reading, writing, whatever they do need help with. We have access to that. They go inside there. We have computers which are donated to us. They have a program which is called EPGY. So they actually go inside there because now inside the school system, my daughter, she's going to 3rd grade. When I was younger, they had STAR tests, which would be done on paper with a pencil. We're getting rid of all that because trees, paper, all that has to be cut down. It's not so good for the environment for us as human beings in general. So everything's getting moved to computers. So now students have to actually know how to input information onto the computer, have to learn how to break down a math problem, actually explain to somebody else how they got to that answer, rather than just saying 2 + 2 is 2 because I was told so. So that's good too. They're working on that. What else do I have to say here? I'm following some great speeches here. There's a gentleman, Trent. I don't know where he went. There, hey, he's right here. All right, Trent, how's it going? And also Jacob here. I loved these 2 speeches. The question came up, how can we end homelessness? And I feel like if to somebody really ask that question, it's something that doesn't have an answer. It's like, how do you end anger? How do you end, it doesn't have an answer that you can just come up with because it's something that's continuously going on. As long as there's going to be humans, as long as there's going to be any living being inside this world, there's going to be times when people don't have a stable place to stay. And, the only way I can feel that you can't end it, but you can work towards, making it easier or better for people when they do reach these certain times in their life so they don't have a place to stay, they don't have food, they don't have stability. And it's not only just the people who have money that have to come help out. Thank you very much, of course. But it's also the people who are going through this problem. They have to wake up, they have to persevere, they have to have determination, they have to want something. Because there are going to be people throughout your whole life that are going to tell you that you can't do something, you can't do this. But if you listen to them, then you'll never have. And if you don't have, then your children won't have. Your grandchildren will have. It'll just continue on down the path, generations. And and what else do I have to say? I'm sorry, I don't want to go into a long speech, but what else? I'm thinking I should have wrote something down. I was told that the president takes notes. Hopefully the president isn't mad at me for not doing my part, but we'll try to make it work. I have a lot of stuff going in my head. I guess I just want to say thank you to everybody for coming down here. Thank you for, allowing me to introduce myself to a lot of people. Thank you for telling my daughter she looks beautiful. Thank you for telling me I look handsome at times. If you guys ever, need somebody to talk to, I'm not the best person, but I am an open ear. I only have one good ear nowadays, but it's always there for people. And, I'm sorry, I want to say one more thing. I'm sorry, I'm jumping back in. So, homelessness again. I can give an example. So 2 nights ago, I was going downtown and, I'm taking my daughter. We're down there kind of late night. And how the city changes once the sun goes down. We hopped off of the T. The T is right outside, so we had access straight to downtown. And I believe we got off on Powell Street. Or either we were leaving downtown or we were coming into downtown. Either way, we were downtown. And there are people living out on the streets. Right inside of the underground station where you would actually have access to BART and to Mini Underground. And you have to walk past these people. And, it's not a good sight. And you have to explain to your children, you have to explain to yourself, you have to try to come up with some answer inside your head that justifies why these people are living on the streets. Why they're sleeping on the side of people while they walk past and they're ignored. Because that's another thing that goes along with homelessness too. It's not just the physical aspect of it. It's the, it's a communication that doesn't exist between people who aren't homeless and people who are. They're normally just ignored. There's a book called The Invisible Man I read back in high school. They become invisible to a certain extent. People tend to ignore them and they cease to exist, even though they're physically still there. And they have all the needs that everybody else needs inside this world, but they're not seen as having those things. And it's something hard that you have to see, something hard that you have to explain, something hard that you have to go home and cope with and deal with and try to ignore to get on with your life. And I just finished reading a book, I'm trying to think, which book was it? Either it was Friedrich Nietzsche or I believe it was Friedrich Nietzsche. And he speaks about quality versus quantity of humankind. And that's something to really have to think about. It's like we can continue to reproduce and take over this world like a bunch of swarming ants and eventually go like into the movies and to the stars, but if we can't take over our own kind, if we can't take care of every living thing that this earth has to offer, because we come from this earth and eventually we all will go back to this. So, you know, it's just, we don't want to give up. We don't want to leave this planet destroyed and, you know, just decayed to the people and the things that come after us. So, you know, just work hard. You see somebody in the street, say hi to them, give them a high five if you can, if you have some spare change. Hey, you know, no matter what you feel like the person's going to spend it on, once it leaves your hands, it's considered a gift. So don't be ashamed. Don't think negative of people because you don't know what they're going through. And I'm not sure if this saying still goes on right now, but everybody is one paycheck away from being out in the streets. But yeah, so love one another. I've always grown up with the one saying, treat people say you want to be treated. And I try to do the exact same now. And hopefully, you know, I'll grow old and I'll pass away teaching that to myself and fellow people that I meet. So thanks again for listening to me. Have a great day. Thank you. Say bye, baby. You want to say bye?
Bye.
Okay, there we go.
Thanks, Maureen. Okay, thanks very much. We actually just have a couple more speakers. Latonia Williams is another resident who's joining us to share her story. Latonia?
Hello, everyone. As Mr. Shoemaker said, my name is Latonya Williams, and I'm honored to say that I'm a resident here at Bayview Hill Gardens. In order for me to effectively convey what Bayview Hill Gardens means to myself and my family, I must first share a brief glimpse into my history. For 20 years, I was paralyzed by an addiction to crack and heroin that sought to steal my life, kill my spirit, and destroy my hopes of having a productive life. As a result, I became an absentee parent, in and out of jail, contracted a life-threatening illness, and suffered multiple years of homelessness. I have resigned myself to the fact that I would die a hopeless dope fiend. But by the grace of a loving God, like the proverbial phoenix, I was blessed enough to rise out of the ashes of addiction, and to date, I have 6 years clean and sober. In short, today, I am a dopeless hope fiend. Certainly, my struggles are not unique, but what I am is yet another powerful testament to the human spirit's capacity to overcome such adversities when giving the right amount of support. It is my belief that every good and perfect gift comes from God, and that is where Bayview Hill Garden comes in. Prior to moving in, I had spent 2.5 years in drug and alcohol treatment and 2 years and 10 months in transitional housing, which legally deemed me homeless. And that's not including the time I spent in abandoned apartments and living in cars. So simply put, Bayview Hills Garden has given me and my family a space to call home. But what exactly is a home? I'm glad y'all asked. For me, home is where my family will continue to pick up the fragmented pieces of our past until they are pieced back together, allowing us to continue to plan for our future. Home is where my family is able to find some sense of comfort and peace when the only thing that society has to offer is uncertainty. Home is where we are given stability. It is my belief that it's not a coincidence that my years of homelessness came to an end right here at Bayview Hill Gardens. I say this because, as we all know, this very location was known as the Franciscan Hotel. If I may speak frankly, the Franciscan Hotel was a breeding ground for violence, illicit drug use, prostitution, and other forms of illegal activity that plagued the residents of the Bayview community for years. And if I may be even more candid, I was a part of that activity prior to seeking recovery. God don't make no mistakes. And I know that he brought me full circle back to this location for a purpose. More will be revealed. The stability that I was given as a result of receiving permanent housing has allowed me to complete a milestone in my life that I took for granted for many years, education. On May 23, 2014, not only did I graduate City College with highest honors, but I also graduated top of my class as valedictorian for the largest graduating class in City College's history. As I continue to grow, because of the foundation I have here at Bayview Gardens, I do not have to ponder about what my future holds. In August, I will be transitioning to San Francisco State University as a junior majoring in social work. Thousands upon thousands of individuals vie for a spot in their highly coveted Bachelor of Arts social work program every fall, but only 25 are selected. I am humbled to say that I am one of the 25. In all honesty, at heart, I am already a social worker because of my life experiences, community, volunteer, and extracurricular activities. Therefore, at this point, earning a degree is just a formality. As I work towards earning my degree, much like those here at Bayview Gardens, I will continue to trailblaze the path for others who have walked a similar arduous journey as me, and in turn, allow them to reap a bountiful harvest because of the seeds that I have planted. To this end, it is no secret that one of the most monumental issues that our society is confronted with is homelessness. Homelessness has thrust too many individuals onto the sidelines and in turn keeps them from realizing their full potential and robbing society of yet another productive member of society. Under the umbrella of Mercy Housing, Bayview Garden has managed to combine permanent housing with a synchronized pipeline of supportive services, which is vital to improving the lives of those who have experienced bouts of homelessness. Mercy Housing mission statement: to create stable, vibrant, and healthy communities by developing, financing, and operating affordable, program-enriched housing for families, seniors, and people with special needs who lack the economic resources to access quality, safe housing opportunity stands on its own. But it is the people with special needs that particularly stands out for me. Reason being, there are various factors that led to the residents of Bayview Hill Gardens becoming homeless in the first place, such as financial crisis, substance abuse, mental health issues, or even domestic violence. But just because we now have permanent housing does not mean that the ill effects of such traumatic experiences dissipate. I tip my hat to Bayview Gardens for not only recognizing those needs, but also structuring their supportive services around filling the voids that we are left with as a result of our trauma narratives. Also, coming from a population that is stigmatized because of our individual circumstances and situations that led us to becoming homeless, oftentimes we are not given a voice, or when we raise our voices, we are not heard. Part of the process here at Bayview Gardens is not only advocacy for its residents, but is also allowing us to have a voice of what kind of supportive services we would like to have, whether external or internal. This is huge because it empowers us to effectively go into any situation and advocate for our own needs. Each and every one of us here knows that homelessness is not just a problem for those who have or are suffering from homelessness. It is a societal problem. Even more importantly, we are confronted with an even greater problem. And that problem is that homelessness is becoming normalized, and society is further becoming desensitized to this growing issue. So while it is important for this marginalized population to continuously to be lifted up and encouraged, it is also equally important that those of us or you who are on the front lines or in the background fighting the good fight be equally commended for helping move thousands of individuals and families out of the category of homeless. Today, I lift up and encourage Mercy Housing, the staff here, Providence Foundation, Bayview Hunters Point Foundation, funders, donors, staff, city officials, volunteers, and anyone else who plays an integral part of creating, supporting, and maintaining Bayview Hill Gardens to continue to do what you do as individuals and as collectives. Please do not grow weary in doing good, because it is people like the residents here who are reaping the rewards of your well-doing. In fact, if no one has told you that your efforts do not go unnoticed, I just did. God bless you, and may He have favor on you because of your efforts, compassion, and generosity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Williams. Just a couple more people to acknowledge, and then we have our closer here. Well, two closers, really, Father Paul and the mayor. I want to acknowledge Bevan Dufty, Dee, and Christine Keener from Hope, which is responsible for a lot of work around homelessness around San Francisco. One of Mercy Housing's board members, Marian Saez, who's in the front row here. I promise, I don't think I really have anybody left. If I haven't thanked you and you're here, I apologize. I didn't get the notes about you. But without further ado, I do want to bring up the mayor to help bring us home. He has been an unbelievable force around economic justice, around homelessness, around affordable housing, and for those of us who have known him for any period of time, he's been around working on just about every issue you can think of in this city, from streets and roads to legal aid to there's probably no topic the mayor has not worked on at some point in his incredible career. So he's a huge friend of Mercy Housing, and I think to the Bayview community and all the rest of us. So with that, I bring you Mayor Lee.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Bayview. Supervisor Cohen, thank you. I'm not going to speak a whole lot. I'm into a mood of celebrating because this community has worked hard and earned our city's attention to make sure we do everything we can to make sure everybody is successful. And I want to say this, before I go and praise Mercy, let me spend a minute praising the people here in the Bayview, because this site, I know about this site. Muhammad just lives a few blocks down, and he always took me to this site. What can we do here? And when you look at the history of what entities have tried to do something with this place, this very site, it kind of reflects sometimes the lives of people who are homeless, because they're trying to get their lives better. The community tried to do something with this site, and then they got hit smack in the face with the economic downturn in the economy. I want to say thank you first to the people who tried very hard, and had other entities try to make something of this site, because I need to thank them, because they set the pace so that Mercy can come in and really use their talent and their resources to help with the building of these 72 wonderful units. But I also want to say thank you to the community groups, the Bayview Hunters Point Foundation, the entities that started and couldn't get it done because their economics wasn't there, and because the economics of the city wasn't there. It's all to say that everybody tries to get their lives better, and city government should be there to help them make sure they cross the finish line. I am proud to work with our agencies, our human services agencies, our health department agencies, our homeless czar, work in partnership with our nonprofits. Ultimately, too, I recognize as the mayor now, in these very good days that we have, these very, perhaps sometimes precious days, where the economy is looking good, where we can settle an $8.6 billion budget for 2 years, not going past 12:30 midnight too long, with the supervisors who are also on board with me about the need for building housing, affordable housing throughout the city, that we also utilize what now is perceived as one of the strongest economies in the country and fulfill the promises we made to this community over 25 years ago. This is what we get a chance to do. And so I just want to say to you, there's more work to be done. Mercy's got a lot more work that we get to do together, Sunnydale and all the other places, but let's celebrate today another milestone. I was there with them in Mission Bay yesterday on another 150 sites, 150 units, 50 of which are going to formerly homeless individuals and families and transitional age youth. We have another presentation here today of these 72 beautiful, beautiful units. Courtyard, you can call your own, a community, being part of the community. Not isolated because of your economics, not being thrust in places where people don't care about. Bayview is an incredible part of our city's economy right now, and we won't forget that. And all we need to do, Supervisor Malia Cohn, is return the economics back to this community as they deserve it, as they're raising themselves up. We get to do that. I will be very happy every time I'm down here opening up another housing site, making sure people feel it, they deserve it. I've got an aggressive 30,000 units of housing I need to build and rehab. With your help, we will get there by 2020, maybe even exceed that number. Because for me, it really is about everybody who wants to live in the city having a chance to do so. I know it's expensive. I know we're trying to make sure people don't get evicted from their homes. We're going to commit and we're going to do all of that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we got to build more housing. We got to rehab more housing. We got to build on our strength. We got to make sure Hope SF really gets all of the developments done. And we need to make sure that each time we focus on the site, just like redevelopment did on this site, and now the OCII has done so, that we do our best to develop the site and bring opportunities for everyone. There's more sites in the Bayview that we could be doing. There's more partnerships that we can have. So I want to say thank you to Mercy. Incredible level of, I think, not only style for this, but also really an ongoing commitment to people who are in need of help. You're a great partner. We're going to continue working with you. But there's more work to be done. So I hope that you celebrate this and then let's get on to the next project. There's more things to be built, more lives to be saved, more lives to be turned around. Thank you very much. Congratulations, everyone.
I think you get a bag, Mr. Mayor. This bag, I think, is worth several $1 million of investment. Yeah.
Down payment?
No, it's past payment. Past payment. All right, we're almost done. I just want to say, because the mayor reminded me, Mercy is really happy to be working with Michael Simmons and Providence on this, and unbelievable partnerships. We've been lucky and around the state been able to do a lot of this work. This actually represents, I think, along with 1184th Street, we now have 657 units of supportive housing in San Francisco alone that we are a part of, and that's an incredible experience for us, part of 1,300 units of supportive housing in the state, which is, again, testament to the real work that's been going on. There are just a couple more folks that I forgot to thank, and one of them I'm really happy. I didn't see Espanola hiding back there, and I knew that I'd get in trouble if I didn't acknowledge Espanola Jackson for her hard work on this and so many other things in this community over the years. Dr. Espanola Jackson. I came so close to getting it right. I was like this close. All right. This is a harder job than it looks. The Bayview Hill Neighborhood Association has also played an enormous role in sort of helping this development become part of the broader community. I also want to thank the folks from the Shelter Plus Care program who go out of their way to really make this work. Shane Balmanon and Darlene Fernandez-Ash. And last but not least, we're going to bring up Father Paul, but as you take your tour today, you'll see art all around this development. And for those of you that don't know, this fabulous nonprofit, they're based in the Mission District, but they do work with developmentally disabled adults all over the city. And That's creativity explored. And as you walk through the building, you'll see just the incredible human capacity that each and every one of us has if we're only given the chance. So with that, I really promise this is it. Bring us home.
All right, I will be short, but just a quick testimony. I've heard the words amazing, teamwork, a great thing. I really believe that this development is a miracle. And my vision goes back around the time Trent Rohr was talking about 15 years ago when running the food pantry across the street of St. Paul the Shipwreck, families would come over that had gotten vouchers from Connecting Point to stay here. And they wanted to know if they could stay longer, so I called the city. And it might even have been you that I talked to, I'm not sure. And they said, you know, that place is so dangerous, there's so much crime there, we're gonna stop sending families because it's a bad example. What you need to do is rent out the whole property and get rid of the crime. And so SFOP was working in community organizing at the time. Neighbors like Beulah Brown, Renee, talk about the violence that was coming out of the motel, and so we got this idea, let's take over the motel. So we walked over and introduced the owner, ourselves to the owner, and started conversations with the owner. Many 14, 15 years of miracles. And LaTanya mentioned that this was a gift from God. For 72 families that live here, this is a gift from God. It's not only a gift that was given, it was a gift that was built and given. $33 million gift, which is nothing for God. Amen. And all God's workers. The city of San Francisco, the neighborhood, people are tremendously loving and good and caring about one another. And I'm very honored to be a part of this community. Let's bless this home for 72 families. You know, like in the military, I think when they commission a destroyer or a ship or an aircraft carrier, a bottle of champagne gets busted against the hull. I brought holy water. And so let us commission, or putting in the service of God, blessing this home for 72 families. Let us pray. Almighty God, we give you thanks for the miracle that has built this home. And we ask that it be commissioned for your service, that you protect and guide all the families that live here, that the children may know love, and that the parents may know your wisdom and support. We ask that you bless this home, keep it safe, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Make this holy ground. Amen.